This video is a model answer for one of the questions in the leading organization case prompt that you currently are working on. The question is, using your knowledge of team building and team effectiveness, recommend how Rubio might build an inclusive culture at Away that engages underrepresented groups. So what was the problem at Away? Away suffered major turmoil and backlash after a report published by The Verge exposed a reckless and unreasonable work environment, bruised employee morale, and increasingly dipping motivation. Employees at Away had faced a culture of fear and intimidation due to daunting leadership, grueling work hours, and a bizarrely restrictive communication policy. Nothing unusual that Away's staff use Slack, a chat app to communicate many of us may be familiar with. Quite common that founders at Away had reportedly set a policy in which open groups were to be used for nearly all company communication, but it restricted one-on-one informal messaging. This kind of command and control, top-down leadership caused growing pains and a sense of disgruntlement among employees who often endured open, brutal criticism by the superior, sacrificing their physical and mental well-being. It was ironical that though Away's communication policy under the leadership of CEO Corey was designed to foster open communication, especially for women and underrepresented groups who often get excluded from key emails or meetings, and though Slack as an app offered levels of inclusion and transparency compared to emails, in practice, at Away, however, the employees were not allowed to email each other, and the policy didn't permit them any outlets to express their concerns. You may recall from the case how one of the marginalized groups at Away had to create and depend upon an informal communication group called #Hot Topic. So was failure of leadership style the real cause of problem? Indeed, it was. The magazine Verge had criticized the Away CEO Steph Corey, who with her authoritative and directive leadership style had created a culture of fear and intimidation among its employees. The magazines, I'll leave you to surmise on numerous incidents as examples of a culture of intimidation, coercion, and fear that demonstrated Corey's domineering and overbearing attitude. Of course, such a leadership style at Away did not encourage an organizational culture of collaboration. Instead, it created distinctions based on each person's position in the organizational hierarchy. Reward and punishment were used to control workers, and the style of coercive management surely did not build cohesive teams. Now, having examined the nature and cause of the problem, let us look at possible solutions for Away travel, as asked in the prompt question. Let's first understand the relevant context of Away travel and the challenges it faced as a fast-growing venture. First, while it is true that any thriving startup is laden with the reality of long hours, late nights, and unacknowledged tasks that often infringes on planned holidays, in that sense, Away cannot be an exception. Second, during the pandemic, Away sales had phenomenally dropped by as much as 90%. So the COVID-19 global pandemic had closed down travels worldwide. Given these two challenges faced by Away travel, the solution lies in building effective, cohesive teams, having a new kind of leadership that can walk the talk, inducing a work culture of inclusion and a culture of innovation across the board. An interesting point is that the learning from past failures of Away can potentially become a guide for its future. Away can turn its poison-like history into medicine-like solutions. Hence, each aspect of Away travels, its genesis as a fast-growing startup, its defective leadership, its non-responsive structure, its organizational culture, and the lack of alignment and motivation among its team members, each of these cons or failures could lead to effective mitigation strategies or measures at Away travels. The first solution is to build an effective team at Away. It is of paramount importance. An effective team is an inclusive culture that engages all, especially underrepresented groups, with the key aspect of creating strong bonds and connections between people in the organization. The benefit of team building lies in increased communication and coordination. That in turn enhances employee motivation and collaboration. There is a wide agreement in management literature on leadership and organizational behavior that building an effective team and inclusive organization culture at an organization like Away Travel is the way forward. Effective teams and inclusive culture can have a huge positive impact on an organization. So, how to build an effective team? Fundamentally, the leaders should use building activities such as creating a genuine environment of open communication that brings individual employees to collaborate as a cohesive team. Team leaders should constantly encourage clear communication between members. Team members who are comfortable communicating will be able to work together with the most efficiency. And a big part of building an effective team is making sure every employee is represented and accounted for. The second solution to the problem at Away is a very critical change needed. Away Travel should have a leadership that walks the talk. At Away Travel, there was a need to acknowledge that one of the ways the leadership team had failed its employees was by giving hollow service and empty talk to the idea of creating a support work environment. In reality, it was not supportive. This problem could be rectified by emphasizing work-life balance and expanding Away's leave policy, making it gender neutral. For instance, if an employee would rather take Passover off, he or she can voluntarily and flexibly work during Christmas or other religious festivals. The second solution is to concretely and decisively change the leadership style at Away. Therefore, a change of guard at Away is critically overdue. Fortunately, the new CEO co-founder, Jen Rubio, had a different ethos and background compared to her predecessor, Steph Corey. But now she had an added responsibility of renovating the company culture, and she needed to reflect on her leadership strategies and how her style is perceived by the team. She has to learn that as a leader, how important communication is with the team, that even when you don't know all the answers, you have to share the direction that you are heading. Rubio needs to be a leader who creates a culture of mutual respect and empowerment through effective communication. Transparency can be easy to expound, but hard to implement. Rubio, after taking over the CEO role, needs to employ regular check-in with all her employees to talk about the direction of the brand, her vision, and her values, and to give them the chance to offer feedback to her directly. Such a measure was missing during Corey's stint as the CEO. So, what kind of leadership style change is best suited for Away Travel? The answer is transformational leadership. As a transformational leader, Rubio should be making all necessary changes to improve organizational culture, beginning with bringing team members together to provide honest opinion. She should motivate team members by ensuring that they are working for a purpose bigger than themselves. This way, employees can identify challenges and opportunities as well as personal goals and aspirations. Rubio should align organizational and individual values to improve employee morale that has been shown to improve productivity. She should promote a culture of inspiration. It is vital to keep the team motivated. Everyone is motivated to collect a paycheck, but great employees are inspired by something more. We know that well. Finally, as a transformation leader, Rubio should set the tone for the right values rather early in her growing company. It is better that way because it can get confusing and challenging to bring about changes in these core organizational values later. Another leadership solution is to move towards participative leadership. Rubio could adopt some aspects of participative leadership, empowering employees of different departments by including them in their decision-making process. She could have employees bring their unique expertise and perspective in the brainstorming process to take the company forward. Relying on a democratic approach, she should make participative leadership work to build consensus among team members. And as with any democracy, her participative leadership requires a culture of information sharing and egalitarian structures. that gives a voice to all team members. So in addition to building an inclusive, open communication, motivating and participative culture through a genuine transformative leadership, it is crucial for leaders to build an organizational culture that is aligned to its vision. Away had an ambitious vision for their product, which was beyond manufacturing suitcases. Its founders had positioned Away as a travel company, not a luggage brand, when they said that we are working to create the perfect version of everything people need to travel more seamlessly, or that Away was to be a companion in travel. But did the employees at Away resonate with this vision? Were they able to internalize its mission and feel motivated about it? Possibly not. That is why, to align employees to a shared vision, establishing a brand identity for all employees at Away Travel could unite co-workers and increase employee engagement with a sense of belonging. Last but not the least, in fact, a lasting solution for its deep-rooted problem is for Away Travel to create a culture of innovation. The continued growth and success or failure of any organization, especially for startups, one has to navigate the path amidst undefined roles, dynamic and changing ecosystems. Hence, organizational members need flexibility and dynamism to meet changing market forces or circumstances with innovation and creativity. An innovative organizational culture requires shared values, engagement, and enthusiasm. Most importantly, it requires an environment in which team members feel safe to take risks and engage in independent thinking. For a startup like Away, constant innovation and collaborative decisions would be imperative to ensure continued growth. Leadership is of paramount importance in building a culture of innovation. Leaders who can do timely course correction and make conscious efforts to anticipate challenges well on time can induce a culture of innovation. So with all these solutions implemented well, transformation is possible at Away Travel.